Okay, it's live now.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Pak Iqbal. Good afternoon, Pak Yusuf and Ms. Nigora and all dear participants. Today we have Bapak Muhammad Iqbal as our presenter. Just for your information, he is the head of Department of Business in Faculty of Administrative Science, Universitas Brawijaya Malang. And he got his bachelor degree in 2001 from Brawijaya University, and then in 2003 he got his master's degree on international business, University of Wollongong, Australia, and he got his doctoral degree in business administration from Victoria University, Australia. Bapak Iqbal is our main speaker today, and he will share a topic in Indonesian tourism. Okay, I think without further ado, Bapak Iqbal, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Nina. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. I suppose good afternoon as well for our counterpart in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. It's been a pleasure to meet you all in this session. Yeah, especially both from the Faculty of Letters, Abdurrahman Saleh University, as well as Faculty of Letters. Tashkent State University of Law, Uzbekistan. So nice meeting you all. And the topic that I'm going to talk about this afternoon, first of all, I do apologize at the very beginning if my slide will be a little bit boring. Yeah, hopefully no one's sleepy during my presentation. Hopefully, let's hope so, because I've also got a few videos that I'd like to share in relation to tourism in Indonesia. So first of all, I'll just try to share my screens. And everyone see my presentation?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So first of all, the title is about Indonesian tourism outlook during the COVID-19. And I think it's gonna be a fruitful discussion once we talk and elaborate more on some impacts of COVID-19 in many areas or many aspects of life, including tourism as well. So in brief, this is what the condition of international tourism, of the global tourism may look like several years back before the pandemic. According to the WTC, 70% of direct contributions of world tourism's GDP is driven by domestic tourists. So basically, having a look at these figures, we do know that domestic tourism plays an important role, in leveraging and in determining a nation's economy. I suppose Uzbekistan will perhaps have the same condition as us here in Indonesia. And we do understand that most of the countries globally perceives and experience a high growth of and numbers of domestic tourism. as well as in Indonesia, for example, in South Asia, the numbers of domestic tourism is so massive. It exceeds the international tourism and global tourism in terms of the economic contribution that it brings. And further, the potential of tourism has been regarded or has been attached in some areas of economics, such as it contributes to 9% of a nation's GDP, whether it's a direct, indirect, and induced. It 1 from 11 jobs created are basically jobs that's been created in tourism sector, whether it's in the hospitality sector, whether it's in the service sector, airlines, in tourism destination, as well as creative tourism, creative products or creative economies. And in terms of the world exports, tourism plays a crucial role in bringing up to 6% of the total world's exports, as well as 30% of service exports. So based on this discussion, we do understand that tourism is highly potential, highly being regarded potential in terms of creating growth in each of the country's economy. Now, I'm sorry, I think in that table or in that figure, I have not translated that yet, but it's okay, I suppose. Those are the figures in 2017 and 2018. The prediction of the World Bank that South Asian countries, in terms of its economy, mainly have seen the growth and steady growth and steady growth of the tourism sector. Yeah, so that's why Indonesia has basically focused upon 3 different sectors or 3 main sectors in order to speed up the nation's development. One is a processing sector. This is by far, for example, a processing, manufacturing, and food processing, or other types of processing, or other types of manufacturing, beyond the agricultural sector. And the second one is growing, the government is trying to emphasize also on agricultural sector. As we know that in Indonesia, there are around more than 17,000 islands, habited and inhabited. And those islands have mostly been focusing on agriculture in the old days. But now they are also shift towards manufacturing-based agro industries. And importantly, there's also an increasing need. There has been an increasing need in trying to speed up the economic level of development through tourism. So, and within these figures, we can understand how crucial tourism sector is for Indonesia, because it creates, or it contributes to a steady growth, in a steady growth that's been experienced by the economy. So as an example, you perhaps know Bali, right? But for foreign people, usually they don't understand Bali. They don't understand Indonesia. Yeah. But when you say that, have you been to Bali? Yes, I have been to Bali. So that is also an indication that Bali is much more popular than Indonesia. Yeah. And with those type of reason, with that type of reason, the government is then trying to leverage the tourism sector in order to create new Balis. I'll talk about that in my next several slides to come. And there are factors that causes the tourism growth, and that drives an increased competitiveness. The first is the government's priority to develop tourism potential. We do understand that tourism had been neglected, perhaps within the last 20 or 30 years. But now, because we are much more aware that as a smokeless industry, tourism may benefit the economy, it may benefit the society, it may benefit the social well-being of its people within each of a particular destination being developed by the government. So therefore, the government has arranged a number of initiatives in doing so. Secondly, second factor that causes tourism growth in Indonesia, that drives the growth of tourism, is the account of visa-free policy to 174 countries in the world. So, which makes us the second most open country in the world. So 174 countries, whenever foreigners from those 174 countries visit Indonesia, it's a visa-free policy. You can even grab your visa on the arrival gate. So it's quite easy for the visa as a document, as a legal document to enter a nation or a country. Unlike us here in Indonesia, whenever we want to go abroad, visa is perhaps one of the most troublesome issues whenever we conduct a visit abroad. And it's basically, what I've been talking about is basically the condition whereby this number shows how important tourism is for a lot of economies. A lot of economies have relied on the tourism industry as one way of which productive activities, that includes businesses, that includes other productive activities within the context of tourism that's being triggered by the tourism sector. It shows how large the contribution is to the economy. And according to travel tourism competitiveness, Indonesia is by far ranked 42 out of 140 in terms of its tourism competitiveness. So one of the most interesting aspects that I'd like to show is that Indonesia is very competitive in terms of price competitiveness. Everything is cheap in Indonesia. So, so especially for Europeans, for eastern part of Asia, Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, it's quite reasonable. I wouldn't say that it's very cheap, no, but it's because the level of price competitiveness is determined by, by the power or the value of the foreign currency itself. That's why Indonesia is competitive in terms of price. It's very easy whenever you travel to Indonesia. It's very easy to access, and it's perhaps it's quite cheap. Yeah, it's not that expensive when you want to order a meal or something like that when you make your visit. So that's one of the most, or one of the strongest, one of the most stronger indicator of how competitive Indonesia is in terms of tourism. And also airport infrastructure, we are perhaps not on the top 10 or top 20, but the government is also trying to emphasize more on some building some infrastructures, whether it's the reachability or the connectivity between airports, between cities, whether it's a physical infrastructure that must be fixed and built. So the government are trying, Indonesian government is trying very hard in order to accommodate aspects that relates heavily to air transport infrastructure and port or roads or ground infrastructure. But on the other hand, we also have health and hygiene, as well as safety and security, as a main issue that needs to be resolved. As one of the issues that, or two issues that needs to be strengthened. But overall, we still consider that the competitiveness of tourism in Indonesia is beginning to rise steadily. Well, hopefully we'd be able to create growth within the context of new normal, in a future to come. And talking by which, Travel and Tourism Competitiveness Index, these are basically the number of indicators that's being used to assess, how competitive a nation's tourism is in terms of the environment, protect business environment, how easy is it to build your business there, how safe is the tourism sector there, and as well as health and hygiene. So these are basically the enablers of tourism competitiveness. Now, we also have in the concept of tourism, we understand that many places in Indonesia nowadays has tried so hard in order to leverage, or in order to boost and bolster its tourism by creating destinations, as well as trying to empower the society, empower the people, in order to create a lot of attractions, in order to create a lot of destinations, so that the regional development, the growth of the regional development in every place, in every island, in every region in Indonesia is leveraged. So in that context, the government, a lot of local government has tried to market their destination, has tried to market destination, has tried to establish differentiation, and making the positioning much more bold, as well as a lot of branding that involves within building or establishing attractive tourism destination here in Indonesia. And talking of which, sustainable tourism, creating sustainable tourism is also a main agenda for a lot of government, because if we have a look at what we are currently experiencing, then it's a challenge for government in order to be much more sustainable and much more resilient in the context of trying to resolve the issues, from the downfall of a lot of tourism industries here in Indonesia as well as globally. So therefore, the government has tried to manage and build a lot of initiatives in order to create a good community governance, as well as businesses that will eventually assist the development of tourism from its downfall at the present time. And so okay, and when we talk about tourism in the nowness, in the context of COVID-19, it's a challenge, and it's a challenging task, and it's hard task for every stakeholders, because 100 to 120 million of jobs are at risk. It creates a lot of loss in the GDP. It creates a lot of loss from exports in tourism, as well as international visitor spending. And so from a lot of studies that has been conducted, the international tourism recovery, it could be slow. It won't recover until 2023, but I believe that everyone, or every nation, has the trajectory in order to leverage and in order to accelerate the growth, in order to accelerate the growth to bounce back from the COVID-19 condition. As an example, one huge loss of tourism is because limited mobility of visitors. Because of the slowdown in global mobility, a lot of airlines have not been in operations. So therefore, there are no revenue or very minimum revenue from the ticketing, from the airline. Many businesses are slowing down because no visitors or no tourists are making the travel. Yeah. No tourists is making the travel. So there are slowdowns because there are slowdowns in global mobility. The borders are closed. So therefore, it creates a lot of negative impact. If we talk about a negative impact, so it's kind of a trickle down effect. Yeah, it's kind of a trickle down effect, and many countries have suffered from this condition. So in order to recover, then yeah, there are few aspects that has to be focused upon. The first is many countries have decided to focus more in leveraging or in accelerating numbers of domestic visit for the domestic tourism, right? Because the international border is closed, they rely heavily on the domestic visitors. Second aspect, or second most important aspect, is that health hygiene, yeah, is also a key issue that needs to be resolved. Yeah, for instance, whenever you're making the travel, then now you have a very high standard in order to keep you and your family or you and other visitors healthy. One is by perhaps undertaking a PCR, undertaking a vaccine, or immunization or something like that. Yeah, that will create a fast growth and acceleration in order to bounce back from the COVID or the slowdown at the present time. And sustainability is also the issue. So sustainable, it's a green marketing, the context of environment friendly visits, environment friendly products and or services are taking place. So these are the 5 impact drivers um, that would be able to bounce back, to help to accelerate the tourism sector be better in the future. So also, the government has been working closely with the private sector in order to accelerate the tourism sector, right? There are a lot of programs, a lot of activities that involves the government and the private sector in order to solve the issues of COVID-19, creating awareness among the people, as well as creating socially responsible business, socially responsible and healthy business for a lot of people or for visitors. And this is the context of investment and private capital in the hospitality sector. So we do know that a lot of people are then impacted, and a lot of people are trying so hard in order to reduce the crisis of COVID-19. So therefore, yeah, there are few important aspects as well when we talk about tourism, Indonesian tourism at the present time. We need to focus and reform our regulation, that's for sure. We need to accelerate more use of technology and innovation, yeah, in order to create a lot of channels, yeah, and to be able to be accessed. We need to prepare save energy, yeah, and the environment, use friendly, yeah, much more friendly oriented strategy in order to to spend, to make consumptions, yeah, that that is useful for the society and the consumers. So a lot of areas that needs to be normalized and prepare in order to recover from the COVID. So I've talked about that. The vaccine is in progress, right? Making nowadays making the perception of the people much more susceptible to health risks. So people are no longer too worried whenever they travel because they have been already vaccinated. And for those who have not, yeah, done so, the government, or I believe that any government have been able to what how could you say that to give permission. No government are giving permission to those who have not been vaccinated. I suppose that's one of the most important standard or protocols nowadays. And also people are much more responsible in terms of CHSE, cleanliness, healthiness, safety, and environment. This is a new habit for us, I suppose. This is a new habit for a lot of people, yeah, in order to be responsible for their health and for the health of others as well. And okay, so in Indonesia, the pandemic is tearing apart the landscape of the tourism, but it raises a new opportunity. Yeah, it raises a new tourism opportunity. So the trends are nowadays people are more likely to visit or to make the journey to experience wildlife, to experience nature-based tourism rather than man-made tourism. Because usually whenever you go to a fun park or to man-made tourism, you tend to interact with a lot of people, yeah, and it's not quite safe. People are still worried. So that's why in Indonesia, if you go to villages, yeah, they offer a lot of attractions, yeah, to be visited. We call it desa wisata or village tourism. Yeah. Nowadays, people are more likely to experience those kind of things, and there will also be in the future to come a change in attraction, in access, and in amenities. So basically, the amenities of tourism nowadays is more to health solution, right? So hygiene, low touch, and less crowd. So that's basically the amenities and the hospitality solution in the tourism sector. And for that reason, a lot of potential actors have to engage one another, trying to find a perfect fit solution for all. For instance, because the ecosystem in the tourism sector comprises of a lot of actors, from hospitality sector, yeah, from the food and beverage sector, air travel, land travel, and other types of services. Yeah, they must be able to interact, yeah, and engage and collaborate one another in trying to resolve what type of new circumstances that will be able to positively contribute, yeah, that positively contribute to in order to bounce back from the COVID-19. And based on that reason, yeah, the government is pushing very hard, yeah, in the context, in some context of domestic tourism. They're trying to establish a lot of destination that will be attractive, yeah, in the short run or in the short term for Indonesian people. Yeah, this is by far the strategy in order to accelerate the economy. So the government has created, you know, certain numbers of great, yeah, right, as a branding, as the branding for these islands. For example, Great Bali consists of Nusa Tenggara Barat, yeah, Nusa Tenggara Timur. If you have heard about Komodo dragons, then that is actually at the eastern part of Indonesia in East Nusa Tenggara. So it's a part of building new Bali, yeah, building new Bali to attract both foreign and domestic visitors. So I'm going to play a video, yeah, just trying to show you the video on the tagline of wonderful Indonesia. So hopefully within from that video, you'd be able to get a clear picture of what Indonesian tourism is like. And hopefully, let's hope that our counterparts in Tashkent are able to make the travel in the future. So just sorry, but my internet seemed a bit slow, but hopefully, okay. So can you hear the video?
Hi, Bet. Yes,
Can you hear
Bet.
the sound of the
You
video?
ready to go?
Okay.
Super ready.
Yeah, see you there. I'm on my way.
It takes months to make ulos.
Inulos mo yan ang mga kinainan.
This is the famous Tortur dance. Look at the stunning Holbom Hills. Wow. The fact is, Danau Toba is the biggest caldera lake in the world. So it needs more than just a day to travel here. You have to prove it and see for yourself.
I'm in Jakarta, modern city. You know, guys, Jakarta has 47 museums that you can visit. Now, I'm going to meet my friend. Wow. This mask, they believe can fight them from bad things.
Hi, Ben.
Here I am, Labuan Bajo! Look at this view. Oh, it's so beautiful. The Komodo, the last real dragon on Earth. Enjoying this beautiful morning. Let's find out world-class underwater paradise. Hey, turtle! Who doesn't want to roll around in this pink cotton candy sand? I brought this cat. It's the cleanest village in the world.
Let's take a selfie.
Shopping time.
Oh my god.
Okay, so that's the first video. I've got actually 3 videos that I'd like to share to give a visualization of what tourism in Indonesia looks like. And this is the second one, and perhaps later on within after this 3-minute video, there's gonna be another video, a very short video that okay, so this is the second video.
Pristine tropical beaches. Exotic rituals. In the beautiful island of Lombok. Colorful craft. Created from local resources. Presented to visitors. Authentic traditional villages. Distinctive pottery. Guests can take part in the process. exquisite pearls. Embark on a remarkable voyage. A visit to the nature preserve. Towards the sea and beaches. A thrilling adrenaline rush in a spectacular turquoise water. Parties on the beach. Celebration of enigmatic local culture. Amazingly festive. Exploring the treks, crystal clear waters of the towering plateaus. A serene volcano in Lombok, the other island paradise. Wonderful Indonesia.
Okay, I think that's about all for the presentation. And the last slide, I'm sorry, don't think. So basically the last slide, the last video was about the promotion for the MotoGP or for the superbike here in Indonesia. Well, it's a part of how the government is trying to or trying to establish awareness, yeah, of foreign tourists, of domestic tourists, in order to come to Lombok, because there are numbers of sport tourism destination and events that's been created by the government, by the government through the ITDC, through the government-owned enterprise. Yeah. So one fact of the World Superbike that's been conducted around a week ago, it had brought a significant number of economic improvement for the local people. Yeah, it has brought attractiveness for the island, because it creates Lombok had become for around 1 week ago, it has become a center of attention globally, yeah, in terms of the sporting tourism that's being conducted by the government. Okay, so I suppose that's all for my presentation. Okay, so I'll just return it back to Ibu Nina.
Oh yeah, okay. Thank you for the sharing, Pak Iqbal.
Yes.
Now it is the time to have the question and answer session. Dear participants, if you want to ask some questions, you can type your questions on the chat box, and you can also talk directly to Mr. Iqbal by using the raise hand feature on your Zoom. Okay, now we are inviting some questions. Everyone, you are feel free to ask anything about Indonesian tourism, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, is there any? Maybe students from Uzbekistan? Okay. Pak Iqbal, previously you mentioned our new circuit Mandalika, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's really a good invention because it doesn't only offer the circuit, but it also offers the view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from one, that's basically one example of how the attractiveness of a destination and event are being created. Yeah. Because when you run the event, yeah, then it will trigger money coming in. Yeah. Expenses from the visitors, yeah, would would be beneficial for the local people. For instance, there are a lot of villages, homestays within the village surrounding Mandalika, surrounding Lombok, and there are a lot of people who sells creative products such as souvenirs. They are being benefited as well as those who have the business in running the F&B restaurants, warungs, right? So they are all benefited by that event, and in the future, I think Mandalika is not only fame, is not they won't be fame only for the racings, but for the attraction surrounding them. The beaches are nice, yeah. The mountains offers a fantastic view, yeah, and the villages offers interesting and attractive attractions, interesting attractions. So the racing is just a trigger, yeah. World Superbike and MotoGP is only a trigger to let people come come into that destination.
Okay, Pak Iqbal, it seems that we have one student here who wants to ask you a question.
Yes.
Dinda. Okay, Dinda, could you please turn on your camera and yeah, you can ask your question.
Okay, thank you for the time. My question is there any innovative way, in Mr. Iqbal's opinion, to keep Indonesian tourism still going up during this pandemic?
Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you, Dinda, for your question. So basically, the government is trying to emphasize more in domestic tourism, yeah. We used to be heavily reliant upon foreign tourism. That was before the pandemic. But because pandemic have limited the mobility of foreign visitors coming into Indonesia, so the government, whether it's the central government and the local government, are trying to nurture the growth, yeah, through domestic tourism. So basically, they are optimizing the locals to make the visit. They are optimizing the locals, local people, Indonesian people, in order to be attracted to a particular destination. So that's why, yeah, the standards of CHSE is now a must for desa wisata, for instance, for village tourism management, yeah, for instance, for restaurants, for hospitality sectors, they have to comply to certain aspects of cleanliness, health, safety, and sustainable environment. So that is the main point, and those are crucial aspects that will lead, yeah, the tourism destination in Indonesia to survive the COVID in the short term, and hopefully when the borders are being reopened again, Indonesia would be able to optimize its tourism internationally.
Okay, Linda, does it answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, now we go to question on the chat box. We have two questions here, Pak Iqbal. The first one is, does the COVID pandemic change the trend of tourism in Indonesia?
Indeed, yes.
Yes.
It does in some situations change the trend of tourism. Many people like to spend outdoor nowadays, rather than being in a mall, rather than only visiting malls and shopping centers and so forth. But they're likely to they are much more attracted to sport tourism nowadays. They are much more attracted to natural type of tourist attractions nowadays. For example, when you go to Mount Bromo, right? Nowadays, yeah, before the pandemic, a lot of people come in. Yes, there are a lot of people, but now there are a lot of communities. People ride bikes to Bromo, for example. There are communities of hikers going to the Kawah Ijen, for example, right? And when you see that kind of trend several years back, yeah, people would be more likely to visit Batu more rather to those places compared to spending going to mountain attractions, going to natural type of tourist destination. So yes, it has brought changes in the trend of tourism in Indonesia, especially for those people who reside in big cities such as Jakarta. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Are there tourist destinations that are closed or dormant because of the effects of pandemic?
Yes, there are a lot of destinations, especially man-made tourist destination has been closed. I'm currently in Batu. Yeah, I am currently in Batu because I've got a meeting in Batu with a lot of my colleagues. And when we observe Batu as an important tourist attraction here in East Java, right? It seemed that Jawa Timur Park 102 has been dormant or closed. So we are sorry for that, because it then brings a trickle-down effect, a negative trickle-down effect, because the number of unemployment will rise, right? So it's not only about the health issues that's being the consequences of COVID-19, but also COVID-19 has led to a growing number of unemployment, because these tourist destinations have been in dormant or have been shut down or closed because no one's coming. There are no visitors coming. while the operational cost is quite high. And because of that limitation, a lot of destination has not been able to survive. So I think hopefully it answers the question of Cindy Prastika, right?
Okay. We have more questions on the chat box. Yeah.
What
Will
is
the number?
okay? Yep,
Okay.
yep.
This is question from Ahmad Akil. What is
Yes.
the more effective method to rebuild the tourism sector in Indonesia? Opening the tourism sites with strict rules to avoid the spread of the virus, or offering new quiet, secluded places that enable the visitors to have less contact with other visitors?
The idea is basically, try to keep yourself and other healthy. Yeah. Try to reduce the possibility of people getting unhealthy, which means that as long as the protocols are as long as the tight protocols are being followed, and as long as people are aware of their current state in terms of health conditions, I suppose there's no need to close down tourist destinations. I'll give you an example, right? Whenever you go to a mall nowadays, you need to have, or you need to be connected or attached to Peduli Lindungi. That is only one method in order to determine where people come from, at what state are their current health condition is, and who do they interact with, and where did they go afterwards. It's only a matter of controlling the behavior or controlling the mobility. And I believe if people are much more aware and be sensible to their own health, whenever they find condition or having a small symptoms of a future of COVID related symptoms, right? It is important that these people do not obey the protocols. It is important that they are aware if they go anywhere, they'd be able to spread the disease. Jadi it's more to creating awareness and sensitiveness and sensibleness for people in order to maintain their own health, so they don't risk and spread the symptoms to other people. I think that's one way. And another way is that that if we cluster those destinations from, for example, some destinations are undertaking the concept of mass tourism, right? But if you limit people coming in, that I suppose would be able to ensure the safety and health issues regarding to the menace of people getting sick in the tourism destination. I think those are the answers for Ahmad Akil Sadid.
Okay, hopefully it answers the question. Okay, Pak Iqbal, we have Anis Marcella who is raising her hand here.
Yes.
Okay, Anis, could you please turn on the camera? Oh yeah, okay.
Well, many new terms have been created during the pandemic, such as staycation and work from hotel. Hotels start positioning themselves not only as places to stay, but also as places to have a vacation and workplace. And my question is, what should hotels priorities if they want to do such a thing?
A lot of hotels nowadays, a CHSE, being compliant to CHSE is a must. Yeah. So hand sanitizers, thermometers, as well as methods, or what do you call that? Or contingencies. Yeah, contingencies if someone or the visitors get sick in the hotel, then you have to have a contingency plan. You have to have, hotel must be able to determine and find solutions, yeah, whenever they are dealing with unhealthy visitors. So CHSE compliant is a must nowadays, because if hotels do not, yeah, if they are not certified with the certification of CHSE, then they would not be able to operate, because it's in a very tight control under the government, local government rules, I suppose. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Other questions?
Enough, Anis?
Yes, Miss. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Pak Iqbal, we have another question here from Arini. Arini
Yes, please.
Hubadiva. Okay, Arini, please.
Okay, thank you for the time. My question is how to promote and how to show to.
Sorry, I can't hear you well.
Okay, maybe she has a problem with the connection.
Yeah.
Tourists that.
Excuse me, could you please repeat your question?
Okay, is my voice clear, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, for now.
My question is how to promote and how to show to foreign tourists that Indonesia have so many culture. Because as I know, many foreign tourists just know about Bali culture better than Indonesian culture instead. What do you think?
And my opinion is that nowadays, people in your age, Arini, are have the competence and have the capability in finding digital solutions, right? You are able to create content. You are much more exposed to YouTube, unlike me, I suppose. I'm very old-fashioned, and you can create content, and people can actually provide other people some information, whether it's a blog, yeah, whether it's a content through the YouTube, or whether you are building a new website in order to upload any informations that you can, and that shows what you are really attracted to. For instance, if you would like to inform to others about the culture of your hometown, for instance, there are a lot of interesting places in my hometown. You can perhaps create a blog or a YouTube content, right? Or upload interesting things, unique aspects of your hometown through the Instagram, right? And that's what a lot of people have done and succeeded very well because they have been able to optimize the use of digital channels in order to socialize and interact with other. And I'll give you an example in Malang, you know, the Kampung Warna-Warni, you might heard of, right?
Jodipan.
Yeah, Jodipan, right? And people became interested because for 1 or 2 or 3 days it had become viral in the Instagram. That was around 2017. So as a person that had grew up in Malang, I have no idea where Kampung Warna-Warni is before it went viral. But I know Kampung Warna-Warni because someone from Jakarta made a visit and had called me to accompany him, right? So can you take me to Kampung Warna-Warni? I have no idea what Kampung Warna-Warni is. And suddenly they showed me in the Instagram that, oh, this is Kampung Warna-Warni. Oh, I know that place. Oh, okay. So I was beginning to think that, okay, a lot of creative young people have used a lot of free marketing campaigns through Instagram in order to, you know, to blast something that has really met the interest of others. And certainly those are typical things that you might be able to want to start with in a very simple sense, right? So has that answered your question, Arini?
Okay. Arini, does it answer your question? Does it satisfy you?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay.
It's the power of internet.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the internet culture. We have to you know, we have to keep on progressing through our internet culture. So and it creates a lot of benefit, yeah, for many tourism areas. Even if you heard about desa wisata back in East Java, Central Java or Pujon Kidul, for instance.
Oh yeah, okay.
They are really good at making content through the Instagram. So yes, that's why it's important to optimize your capability using the internet, using the digital whatever digital channels you use, YouTube, Instagram, and so forth. So
okay, we have a question from student from Uzbekistan, Zuhra Muradova. Ms. Zuhra, could you do you mind reading your question? Okay, Ms. Zuhra, do you mind reading your question? Okay, let me read the question then. Where is it? Okay. Which sightseeing is the most visitable in Indonesia?
I think 100% of sightseeing destination in Indonesia are visitable, right? 100%. Everywhere you go in Indonesia, it's beautiful. So make the effort to come to Indonesia. So this is a promotion, right? So this is a kind of a promotion. So in East Java, in the area where I grew up, where I come from, perhaps Mount Bromo is very famous. Yeah. And if you ever heard of Borobudur Temple, it's the largest and the oldest the oldest Hindu or Buddhist temple in the world. So it's very popular. But if you want to go something to a destination that will attract your adventurous adventurous experience, then you want to go to Komodo Island, right? Or if you want to visit Komodo Island, if we are brave enough to go there and meet the Komodos, that's interesting to be visited as well. And other, well, there are a lot of, sorry, I've got to find myself a power outlet because I'm running out of batteries.
Okay.
Sorry, just give me a minute to fix the problem. Okay, so if you decided to go to the eastern part of Indonesia, a lot of places are very beautiful. Yeah, if you want to visit, say like the coral reef, if you feel like doing some diving, yeah, you'd perhaps want to go to Bunaken, that's in Sulawesi. Or if you want to experience surfboards, if you want to go surfing, you can go to Bali or Lombok or Banyuwangi. Even Banyuwangi East Java,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, there's hundreds of interesting places in Indonesia that a lot of people has made the effort to come there, to go there.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Zuhra is saying that. Sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay. You
It's
can
okay.
perhaps browse it through the YouTube then,
Mhm.
and
Thank you
experience it from the YouTube.
Thank you for the answer. Thank you for interesting information, like Cassie said. Okay. Thank you for the question, Miss Zuhra. Okay, yes. We have another question from Alvin. I think this will be the last question because it's already 5:05. Okay, Alvin. Could you please turn on the camera? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, excuse me, sir. I have
Yes.
a question. My question is how to improve the economy in Indonesia in the tourism sector. Thank you, sir.
Okay. How to improve the tourism sector? First, we 100% all of Indonesian people have to be vaccinated, and 100% every visitor visiting Indonesia have to be vaccinated. Yeah, because that is the most important nowadays whenever people make a visit. Yeah, and in order to speed up the recovery, the economic recovery, then vaccination is one important or the main important aspects. Yeah, because then if a country, yeah, if a country has increased its percentage of the total population being vaccinated, then it creates trust, right? It creates trust from the society, the domestic visitors, the local people, as well as it creates trust for foreign visitors. So getting vaccinated is a must whenever we talk about trying to recover from the pandemic. So secondly, people have to be able to create or to increase the awareness on the health and safety issues that relates heavily to tourist destinations now. Yeah, and tourist destination must be able to increase, yeah, or to establish the quality of the health, safety, and hygiene. Because in Indonesia, it has become a crucial issue for so long. For instance, yeah, public toilets, right? Because in most areas, especially in tourist destination, few years or several years back, perhaps, people don't understand the necessity. They don't see the necessity of having a good sanitary, a good hygiene sanitary, yeah, in tourist destination. But nowadays, it's becoming an important aspect, because it's only a small things. Those small things would be able to create an unsatisfied experience for the visitors, right? Unsatisfied experience. Then, if you don't have a good experience going to a tourist destination, then you'd be more likely to upload all of your comments through the Instagram, and it creates negative electronic words of mouth for other people, right? So in that sense, those type of strategies is then needed in order to create the economic activities at the tourist destination rolling. So I suppose those are types of solutions that we have to be able to determine in the short and long run. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Alvin.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I get it.
Yes. You're welcome.
So I think we cannot accept any more questions because it's already 5:10. Okay, thank you for sharing, Pak Iqbal. So during the pandemic, it's all about CHSA, right? Cleanliness,
Yes.
health,
Cleanliness,
and
health, safety, and environment.
Okay, and one of the most effective method to help our government promote the tourism sites is by using the power of social media. Last week I went to Malang to accompany my father to the hospital, and on the weekend I tried to escape for a while and I visited NK Cafe.
Yes.
Yeah, because I have seen many of its pictures on the Instagram, and then I asked my brother, "What is it? It looks great. It looks beautiful." And in the afternoon, he asked me to go there.
That's a good place, and I've contributed at some ideas at establishing some ideas for NK Cafe, because the initiator was actually he is actually a lecturer at our department, and
I see.
he is also formerly my student back in the undergraduate degree. So I gave a lot of insights for him prior to the establishment of that cafe, of that NK Cafe. That's I think it's very hype on the internet. It's very hype.
Yeah, it's very hype
on the Instagram. So
yes, true.
Yeah.
Okay, it has great facilities. We can.
I think your student have to make the effort to visit NK Cafe or visit any cafes in Malang, because at the present time, yes, we are perhaps we have more cafes than 2 to 3 years ago in Malang nowadays. I think, that's what makes Malang is now much more interesting, because there are a lot of places. There are a lot of escapes.
Okay. Too bad that I couldn't visit many tourism sites when I was in Malang a few years ago.
Okay.
Okay. Students, don't forget to fill out the attendance form that I have given you the link on the chat box as usual. And if you still have more questions about Indonesian tourism, you can send your questions to us, or maybe you can send the questions to Miss Munisa or Mr. Oibek, and they will send the questions to us, and we will forward the questions to Mr. Iqbal. Okay, thank you for your time, Mr. Iqbal.
Yes.
It's a good lecture today. And hopefully we can collaborate again in the next future.
Hopefully. It's been a pleasure to contribute to this event this afternoon. And I believe that there are a lot of interesting questions from your students. So it shows the not only the awareness but also the passion towards the topic or the theme that we talked about this afternoon. So I'm very grateful for this event this afternoon. Thank you for our counterparts from Uzbekistan as well as from Universitas Abdul Rahman Saleh Situbondo. It's a pleasure to meet you all.
Okay, as usual, before we close the meeting, we will have a photo session. Please turn on your camera, and I will take the screenshot. Everyone, please turn on the camera. Okay, ready? Wait. Hang on. Yes. I'm sorry, wait. Slide 2. Okay, done. Okay, do you have something to say, Pak Yusuf? Oh, Bapak Iqbal, I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce you to our dean. He is Pak Yusuf. Pak Yusuf is here. Maybe he wants to say something to you.
Okay. I would just like to extend our gratitude on behalf of the faculty to Mr. Iqbal for giving us the time. We are very glad that you come, and I joined the meeting from the beginning up to the end, and it was a very interesting presentation. Thank you so much. Hopefully we can collaborate again in the year.
Okay, thank you very much. A pleasure. A pleasure for me to talk with all of the civitas from the Abdul Rahman Saleh University. Thank you.
Okay, sudah Pak Yusuf.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you Pak Iqbal. Thank you for sharing with us. See you next time. We will send the certificate by email as soon as possible.
Thank you very much for that. Okay,
Thank you.
okay. Assalamualaikum.
Okay, thank you.
Bye everyone.
Bye. Stop live streamingnya. Sudah.
Yeah, okay. Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow at 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tomorrow the lecture will start at 1 Indonesian time. It means 11 Uzbekistan time. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Miss Nigora.
Miss Nigora is not here because she has a class.
Oh,
And yeah, but we have Mr. Sorry, Mr. Mirazis.
oh,
He's
here,
one of the lecturers.
Mr. Mirazis.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Mirazis. Okay. I think he's not here.
Okay, sudah. Thank you, students. Thank you, everyone.